New York City has just become the most expensive city in the world, and for us locals, it makes sense. Today's video is meant to help you out if you are coming to New York City by providing you with a general idea of what you'll likely spend. My goal is simply to give you realistic numbers to budget your trip with. I'll also provide tips on how you can save money and what things are not worth spending on. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Sarah, a licensed New York City tour guide and local New Yorker who makes videos on traveling and living in New York City. Also, as an added bonus to make your life easier, I've included my 3-day NYC guide in the link below so that your vacation planning is easier. So let's begin. One of the most expensive categories is lodging. So let's start there because you're going to need a place to sleep. Hotels start at around $300 per night at a bare minimum across most of Manhattan and are the highest priced in Midtown, which is where most tourists stay because it is near Times Square. The price will be more than this during certain times of year. For example, the holiday season has the highest hotel rates. To save money, you could stay in an Airbnb, which runs from around $215 up, or stay at a Sonder, which is a short-term apartment rental. I've seen Sonders as low as $174 for a studio in Lower Manhattan. Another strategy to save money is to visit between January and March, which is when tourism is lower and the hotel rates will be cheaper then. I have a video all about this time of year linked below, so check that out. However, the best hack is to stay in the outer boroughs to save money. Here you're gonna find the cost of lodging will drop a lot, but you will have to commute into Manhattan to do most of the famous sightseeing and see the most popular tourist attractions. I recommend staying in Long Island City, Queens, personally. Here you're only a 10-minute subway ride from Midtown, but the cost of hotels start as low as $119 per night. This price difference is more than worth the cost of the subway ride in my opinion, which is around $2.75 per ride. Plus, it only takes 15 minutes to get to Times Square from Long Island City. For the sake of this video, let's use the average hotel price of $300 per night for a room, plus the 8.875% sales and use tax, the 5.875% hotel room occupancy tax, and the $2 New York State hotel unit daily fee. Yes, these are all sadly actual additional fees in New York City. That brings the total cost to around $350 per night, give or take, giving you a weekly fee of $2,450 for lodging. If you're staying with more people, then this price will go down per person, and for your sake, I hope you are, because that is a lot of money. Next, let's talk about transportation. You'll need to get around when you're here, and the best and most cost-efficient way to do that is to use our subway. You can do this for only $2.75 a ride. And now there are contactless payment scanners at almost every entrance, so you can simply tap your credit card. This is much more efficient to use than getting a physical Metro card from the machines, and cheaper since the physical Metro cards cost $1, which is a one-time fee in addition to the cost of the subway ride. The other benefit of using contactless payment upon entry to the subway is that once you take 12 rides within a week period, every ride after your 12th ride will be free until the following week. It is essentially a free way to ride the train after an initial investment of $33 worth of rides, technically. So I recommend budgeting around $33 per week for transportation if you only plan on using public transportation. However, if you saw my recent video on crime in New York, then you've heard that the subway has had an increase in crime. Most New Yorkers still take it. If you prefer not to take it, then you're going to have to take a car, and that does get very expensive quickly. Here are some of the average costs of getting from the airport to Manhattan. Shockingly, getting around Manhattan isn't much cheaper. The average ride from uptown to downtown and vice versa will be around $30 or more normally, depending on the time of day. But to help you save some money, here are some promo codes that you can use for Lyft, Uber, and Revel. So as we have established, New York City is very expensive and food and drink prices are in line with that here, unfortunately. So on screen, I put the average price ranges for typical meals for your reference. I recommend you plan to spend money in this category because our food and drink scene is one of the best in the world, and you'll want to experience that. After all, we do have 73 Michelin-starred restaurants here. I have an entire video about the top-rated restaurants in the city, and I'll link that below for you as a resource. Here are the average prices you can expect at most bars in the city. There are some places that have happy hour specials during the weekday afternoons that have cocktails for less than $10, although this is a bit harder to find. Now listen up, because I'm about to give you an amazing hack to save money in the city. It's an app called Seated, and if you book your dining through the app, then take a photo of the receipt after you dine and submit it through their app, they will give you cash back on the meal up to 30% of the original cost. So that means that if you spend $100 on a meal, you will get $30 back right away. I use this all the time and it helps me save money a lot. And since I have an account, if you use my promo code SARAH2352, you'll get an additional $15 back after your first meal, and then I get $15 towards a future meal for myself. It costs nothing extra to you, and I greatly appreciate it. It's like you're buying me an overpriced cocktail in New York City to thank me, and I sure love that. Although I don't love the overpriced part, but it is what it is. I would recommend that you budget around $150 a day for food and drink per person. This would be around $1,050 weekly. Some meals may take a larger part of that budget, for example, a Michelin-starred restaurant. And some cheap eats, like my beloved Los Tacos Numero Uno, will take up less of the budget, but still make your taste buds very happy. So that would bring our total weekly cost to around $3,533. Finally, let's talk about things to do. Luckily, most of the famous sightseeing can be done for $0, and you can see all of the most iconic sites for free. This includes the Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, the Empire State Building, Times Square, and the Statue of Liberty. However, you won't get much context as to what you're looking at, so I do recommend doing a walking tour on your first day that you're here. For that, I would recommend booking one of my New York City tours to save you time. Now, if you're a first timer, my Must See Manhattan tour shows you all of the most iconic sites in the city in 2 hours, which saves you time and gives you context and insight as to what you're seeing. For foodies, my Best of New York food tour brings you to 5 tasty eateries, and you'll get to try the classic New York City foods in 3 hours. These are very large portions. Most people just call it a walking lunch. Many museums have free days or pay what you wish, which can save you tons of money. I have an article below about all of the free museums in the city, so that will be a great reference to you. There are 5 observation decks right now, and I recommend Summit OV, Top of the Rock, or Edge. If you join the Must See Manhattan tour, we actually drop you off at Top of the Rock, and then you can go up and see the beautiful views, which makes your planning process way easier. So let's budget around $50 per day for activities. This comes to around $350 per week and brings our total cost to visit the city in 1 week to be $3,883, or a little under $4,000. Yes, I know it's expensive, but I'm giving you a realistic budget given the current numbers and prices. Please note that lodging takes up more than 50% of this budget, so if you find cheaper lodging than the average Midtown hotel cost, this number will go down a lot. This number will also go down a lot if you are traveling with a group and are going to split the cost of lodging. There are so many things to do in the city, and I understand how it can be overwhelming to visit here. So after watching this video, I would recommend you watch my 3-day guide to the city. In it, I walk you through what I recommend you do for your first days of your trip, and you can also get a PDF guide via the link below. Now, if you want a more custom experience, I can help you plan your vacation here too via my VIP concierge services, so that link will be below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, because it really helps get my videos out to more amazing travelers like yourself. Share it with who you're traveling with so they can budget accordingly, and I hope to see you in New York City. Maybe on one of my tours very soon. Thanks so much for watching.